My name is Professor Crabtree. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I understand that a few years back you met my colleague, Professor Plaintree. Yes? He is a fine professor, not located in the 8 known regions. He has his own little island facility that is near an airport, and it's in the suburbs of the island, as you will. It's a very quaint little area that I visit from time to time to discuss the world of Pokemon. Now, you're new to the world of Pokemon, correct? Okay. And you want to seek counsel in the world of Pokemon. You'd like to understand the various creatures that live in our world. Great. Before I begin, I'm just going to take a little swig of this potion that I'm working on. It's not for Pokemon, it's for the professors, such as myself, who go through a lot of tedious hours to learn as much as we can about these creatures. It's got a nice little kick to it. This is a lava potion. It is concocted from the fire type Pokemon. The gym leader, Blaine, helped to create this little potion. It gives a feel of the real power of the fire types. Okay. So, before we begin, I just want to explain what I have in my hand. Here we have the Deluxe Essential Handbook, where it basically breaks down, not all, but a lot of the original founded Pokemon. And it's in alphabetical order, and it gives our little description of them and talks about their evolution and their typings and what they're weak against. It's pretty straightforward. There's over 700 Pokemon in this book. But before I get to that, I just want to take down some information from you, and then following that, I am just going to explain to you how your journey's gonna unfold in this world. Okay? So, what is your full name? Great. And how old are you? Now, the typical Pokemon trainer is about 10, 11 years old when they embark on their journey. But I can see that you are older. Okay. It might be a little bit easier to... Oh, pardon my phones in the background. I hope this doesn't distract you in any way. I'm just going to let my assistant handle that. Okay, so hopefully that will be picked up soon. If not, the answering machine will get it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we have your name and your age. Now, what region are you from? I apologize again for the irritating sound in the background. I guess my assistant decided to go home today, and the machine is getting the message that is left for us. It probably has something to do with Professor Kukui and his obsession with wrestling. We've been getting a lot of those messages, and I also apologize for that sound as well. That is our egg incubator. We have several species of Pokemon in that incubator at the moment. We found them, some of them we have bred, and we are going to see what they are. We got a couple from the Alola region, and they are regional variants, if you want to put them, where they look differently than the originally founded versions, such as Sandshrew and Vulpix. Okay, so you are from the Kanto region, correct? What town in the Kanto region? Okay, I'm just going to put a dash next to that and put Viridian City. Have you heard the jingle that recently came out on the road to Viridian City? It's a quite catchy tune, if I do say so myself. Okay, now have you had any previous encounters with Pokemon? Has a family member or yourself had one as a pet? Is there a trainer in the family? Anything of the sort? No? Okay. So, no prior experience. You just see them in passing, and you find them interesting. Okay. So this is a whole new world for you. Believe it or not, that makes this whole thing easier, because there's more to explain. It's easier to learn something fresh than to try to pick pieces of information that you may have found along the way up until your decision to become a Pokemon trainer. Do you think you have what it takes to be a Pokemon trainer? Do you have the skill set or the mindset? Now, each Pokemon has different characteristics. Some of them are tough to train, such as Mankey, which will require a lot of patience and dedication and willingness to overcome the issues that Mankey can provide you. And there's also Pokemon that are a breeze to train, like Caterpie, that levels up quick and easy and is a very reliable companion when its final evolution, Butterfree, is in your possession. Oh, you think you have what it takes? Okay. But some trainers prefer not to catch them all. They prefer to only catch specific Pokemon or specific typing. Now, some people might like fighting, some might like electric, some might like dark. A lot of people have preferences, or some like cute, or scary, or strong. It depends. And I also apologize for the banging downstairs. There's probably an experiment gone wrong, or a Pokemon battle. I tell you, this facility here is quite unique. Anyway, it's not like Professor Plaintree's that's on a nice suburban area. I can't even explain everything that goes on around here. I told them that I was going to be seeing you, but I guess that counts for nothing around here. Anyway, So you have no prior experience. Now, are you aware of the various types? Some of which I explained, but besides that, are you aware of how many types there are and so on? Well, off the top of my head, water, electric, fire, bug, grass, steel, fairy, fighting, poison, dark. There's quite a lot. Dragon, the normal type, psychic, ground, rock. There are quite a few different typings. There's ghost as well. The most recently discovered has been fairy, but we've been finding different kinds of typing combinations. There's believed to be a fire-electric type. We believe that it's a bunny, but we are not quite sure the exact makeup of this creature. Okay, so there's a lot of potential in the world of Pokemon. You never know what you're going to come across. So, in the handbook I'm going to give you, it will explain and break down the current typings as we have found them today. Okay? I also forgot flying is another one. Mostly they're usually normal type, flying normal type, but there can be some that are fire type as well, or electric or ice, such as the legendary birds, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. But I will continue with this first. Okay, so you got your name, your age, where you're from, and your experience. Now, what got you into learning about Pokemon? Anything specific? Okay, so I think I got my current information. Now, are you going to have a traveling companion with you? Oh, very good. I always said that if you're going to learn the world of Pokemon, it's better to do it with somebody and experience the joy together. That's if you can stand that person, that is. Okay, great. Okay, you're looking like a good candidate to start your journey. It's not going to be easy, and depending on where you go, you'll run into different kinds of not only trainers but gym leaders, or if you visit Alola, you have what do they call them over there? I'm drawing a blank. You have the Island Kahunas and the Grand Trials and so on. It's a little different than the average Pokemon region in Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos, and Galar. But the Alola region is quite unique compared to those other regions. And there's a lot of history in Pokemon, and not just the Pokemon themselves, the people of the different times and the areas that these Pokemon and people are from. You get the Kalos region, which is very industrial-like, and then you have the Alola region, which is tropical, and you got the Kanto region, which is very mild, and so on and so forth. And each area has their own little, I want to say, tourist spots, locations that are popular and known for that region. You have the Burning Tower in Johto, and in Kanto, you have the very first Pokemon League, and the you have the Cinnabar Island and the Seafoam Islands. There's so much to explore in all of these regions. Okay, but I'd have to say the most basic is the area that Professor Plaintree lives. Yeah, it's very simple. Not much goes on there. There's only a handful of Pokemon that live there. But I believe the Kanto and Johto, I think, have the most amount off the top of my head. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull out this file. And just going to take a quick look. This is confidential information, but it's just going to give me a better idea of how to explain things to you. Okay? Okay, what's this? Okay. So, let me hand you here is your Deluxe Handbook. Now, this is the most updated version we have. Alolan Pokemon are not in here, but I'm sure you can find a Alola Dex entries. And when you receive your Pokedex from one of my assistants downstairs, everything will be already on there. You just have to catch what you want, or you can catch them all. It's up to you. And it will break them down for you. But just an example, we have Igglybuff here. Now it's a normal fairy type. Before it evolves, Igglybuff's vocal cords are underdeveloped, and singing hurts its throat. Its soft, squishy body gives off a sweet, calming aroma. Now each Pokemon will have their own description, usually about some trait or something like that. And then there is a pronunciation. There is their height, their weight, and the moves that they can potentially learn. And that's another thing. Each Pokemon can only use 4 moves, but it learns various moves throughout its life. And it's up to you to teach them the ones that you think are best. Now, there are status moves, physical moves, special moves, and before I get into anything else, a status move is something that affects the status of another. So this could be anything. This could be, you can poison your opponent, paralyze them, burn them, freeze them, etc. You can also reduce their speed, their defense, their attack, their special defense, and so on. So there's a lot of things like that. And a special attack is a non-physical attack. So Ice Beam, for example, is an attack without physically making contact. Whereas a physical attack is like Pound, where they physically fall on top of their opponent. You'll learn that along the way. I believe there is a slight breakdown. So I'm going to give this to you, and you can do with it what you will. And I have a few items here that I would like to show you, just in preparation to understand. We're going to start off with the basics. Alright. Now, in the world of Pokemon, there are various tools to catch Pokemon. They're all Pokeballs, but there are different types of Pokeballs. Now we have the basic Pokeball right here. Now, when you throw this at a Pokemon, this will light up and it will open and they will go inside. And depending on the level of the Pokemon you're catching, it'll be harder or easier to catch. Now, a typical Pokeball works best on a Pokemon of a lower status, level, if you will, or if you have weakened them in some way, or give them a status condition such as being poisoned or burned, then this Pokeball works pretty good. Not the best, but it can do the job. And then you have a more powerful ball, the Ultra Ball. Now, it's the same size as a Pokeball. The only difference is it has a higher catch rate, which means you can catch a higher level Pokemon, like a level 50. Whereas this, you're better off catching up to about a level 10 or 15. And there's also the Great Ball, which is in between these two. I don't have it with me at the moment, but it has about a 30 level catch rate, somewhere around there, 25. There's also the Premier Ball, and then there's the hard to find, the rare Master Ball, which can catch anything without fail. And there's the Net Ball, and so on. And if you go to the Pokemart, they will explain to you what they're best used for. So if you have more questions, feel free to ask your local cashier at a Pokemart. Now I'm just going to break down what happens inside the Pokeball. Now a lot of people don't understand this. Here is a little crystal example, and we have inside of this a legendary, mythical, the mythical Pokemon Mew. You can see that. Now, when a Pokemon is in a Pokeball, it reduces its size, it materializes, and it goes into the ball, and it sits safely and comfortably inside of it, just like here. Now, no one has officially caught Mew. It is still on the loose, but this is just a little example of what it looks like inside the Pokeball. Okay? Now, I have something special I want to show you. It's a prop. It's not a real Pokeball. Put this down. Now, this is a vintage item, and let me just pull it out. This will show you how it opens. See? Now inside this vintage ball, we have two items. We have a certificate of authenticity and a gold-plated, in this case, Pikachu card. Now, this is just a officially licensed Pikachu, and this is just for your records, right? Now, inside this little casing is a gold Pokemon card. As you can see, this one representing Pikachu, and it tells you its length and width, and it's a mouse Pokemon, and it's an electric type, and it can evolve to Raichu with a Thunderstorm. When several of these Pokemon gather, their electricity could build and cause lightning storms. So this is a little interesting, cool prop that exists. This one is quite rare. They haven't sold these in 20 years. So it has a value to it. Okay. I just thought it'd be interesting to show you this. Alright, just put him down. And I'm going to show you a couple more vintage items before I get into what I intend to show you. Okay. Now here we have a Charizard. This is 21 years old, and it is a small replica of the fully evolved form of Charmander. A lot of people in the Kanto region received a Charmander during their beginning journeys. Okay, so it evolves into Charmeleon and then Charizard, and they're fire types, but Charizard has wings, so it's also a flying type. It's a dual type Pokemon. Now, you can also receive Bulbasaur and Squirtle in the Kanto region, and Bulbasaur is a grass poison type, and it stays that way. Whereas Squirtle is just strictly, the evolution is just strictly water type. Now, personally, I think that the Johto region has the best starters. Chikorita, the grass type, Totodile, the water type, and Cyndaquil, the fire type. I believe those are all great choices. It depends on your preference, on which you'd rather have a physical Pokemon or a special attack Pokemon. It's up to you. But this is a little replication of that Pokemon Charizard. Let me show you some more. Now, not all of the evolution chain is available in this set, but this is the Weedle evolution line, as you can see. But we only have Kakuna and Beedrill, and it's the same thing. Weedle evolves into Kakuna and then into Beedrill. Now, these are great starting choices, specifically in the Kanto region, because they evolve quickly, and Beedrill, when he's fully evolved, can be quite a good weapon. Now, I didn't get into the Mega Evolutions. He has a Mega Evolution. You need Keystone in order to create the Mega Evolution, and you have to have a bond along the way. There's a lot to go into that. Very little trainers have this capability, but if you do get this capability, Beedrill can be a very effective weapon. Okay. I have one more of these. I actually have more, but you get the message. This one only has a single evolution. This is Ekans, and it evolves into Arbok. Also Kanto Pokemon. He evolves just to him, nothing else. And this is strictly a poison type. If you ask me, Arbok and Ekans are not the best quality poison type Pokemon. There are better, such as Nidoran, male and female. And there's a couple more. There's a lot of poison type Pokemon. Croagunk is also a quite good one, who I have a figure of. Here he is with his very special move. Well, most Pokemon can learn it that are poison type or even fighting. The Poison Jab, very effective move, and it can potentially poison the opponent, which is great because they'll consistently lose power along the way. Their HP will diminish, and their HP is their overall strength, really, when you think about it. It's how many points they can take damage. Pokemon like Chansey have very high HP, and then there are some with very low. And of course, the lower your level, the lower your HP. But very effective. If you want to see Charizard on a bigger scale, I have that. Here he is, right here. You can see. This is a blast burn attack, one of the most powerful fire type attacks there are. He engulfs himself in fire, such as this, and you really can get the feel for the strength of this Pokemon. I believe this Pokemon's a little overly bragged about, if you want to say. I believe there are much stronger Pokemon out there than a Charizard, but it's an iconic Pokemon, and people really enjoy it. He has 2 possible Mega Evolutions. One's a Fire Flying, it stays the same, and the other one's Fire Dragon. But this is only a temporary state. And again, like I said, it's rare to find the Keystone. Okay? Now I want to get into Pseudo Legendaries. Okay, I know this is a lot of information to take in, but just try and bear with me. A Pseudo Legendary is not a legendary, but it's very rare, and they're often dragon types, which are hard to find. Now we have a Dragonair, which you can occasionally find going through the sky at very odd hours of nights. Think of it as a shooting star. You don't see that many of them, but they can occasionally come around. But it is a pseudo-legendary, and it is a second stage Pokemon, meaning it evolved from something else, and it will evolve into something other than this. So it evolves from a Dratini, and it will evolve into a Dragonite, and it is a dragon-type Pokemon, as you can tell from the name. I believe they are set to give you good luck. Okay, so I just thought I'd introduce that. And I have a little more. Now, I didn't go over mythical Pokemon. Now we have Marsh Shadow here. Marsh Shadow is a mythical Pokemon, and the only known Pokemon to be a ghost fighting type. At the moment, that is. I'm sure we might come across something else in the future, but it is a mythical Pokemon. It is not a legendary, it's mythical. Now the difference being, a legendary is already known Pokemon that has been recorded. Okay? And a mythical Pokemon is a Pokemon that has been told about in stories. And this is the best representation of that Pokemon that we have. Okay? So, there's a variety of different kinds of Pokemon. But a very popular Pokemon that many people have chosen, and it's quite unique, being that it can evolve into various different Pokemon because of its genetic makeup. This is Eevee. Okay, now this happens to be a keychain, but it's like a little dog, a little puppy kind of Pokemon. But depending on the time of day, or if it's met with a evolutionary stone, or where it's located, if it's near a mossy rock, it will evolve into Leafeon. If it's near a very icy area, cave perhaps, Glaceon. And then there's the daytime evolution, Espeon. Nighttime is Umbreon. And then there are 3 stones that you can potentially have it near: a water, fire, and thunderstone. So you can be a water type, an electric type, or a fire type. And there's also a fairy type, depending on if it knows fairy type move and it is very fond of you, it can become a Sylveon. So it has quite a variety, and I'm sure we will find more of them. We could potentially run into a Steel-type Eevee, but only time will tell with that. And I'm just going to show you one more thing before I send you on your journey. We have a lot of people that are such strong fans that they purchase these tins that have cards in them. Now this one, Rayquaza. Okay, this is a legendary Pokemon. You'll see from time to time, usually around the Hoenn region. But people like to collect cards, as you can see, and battle them. There's a quite nice designed one in here. Just so you know, you might run into Misty if you're in the Kanto region. She is a water-type gym leader. You'll probably run into her early if you go there. And here's a very vintage Magneton card. This is back in the day. This is an old one of the original sets of cards. But I do have a card in here that I thought was very nice. Maybe it was another set. There's bug Pokemon like Grubbin you'll find in the Alola and Galar region, but you won't find it in the Kanto region. Then there's some Pokemon you'll find in every region, such as Pikachu. But maybe I don't have it in this set. But let me show you this. That's Poplio. That is a starter in the Alola region. Okay, oh, here's a card for one of my friends in the Johto region. It's Professor Elm. He is a good colleague. Guess I don't have it in this set. That's disappointing. Guess I grabbed one of the wrong sets. It was a very vividly colored Steelix card. It's an evolution of Onyx. You'll find out when you read your handbook. But I'm going to give you an item. And there are some Pokemon downstairs that we've been trying to get a home for. They haven't been caught, they've been just living with us, and I would like you to pick one of them. I'm going to give you this Pokeball here, and you're going to catch the one that you choose. Now I believe there are 12 Pokemon downstairs, and since this is not the peak season, November is generally when we do our starting Pokemon release. So you're going to have to pick one of them, and hopefully you'll enjoy their presence, and you'll be on your way to becoming a Pokemon trainer, possibly a Pokemon master. That is entirely up to you. You might just want 3 Pokemon to be your friends forever, but you might want to expand that. It's up to you. The world is in your hands right now. So it was a pleasure to meet you, and I wish you luck on your Pokemon journey. So just follow me out this way, and we'll get started.